When we do housing, we say, what's the worst case scenario house that isn't your dream, but you'd be happy to live in it? So it's the cheapest version of the house that you'd be happy in for the rest of your life if that's all you could afford. From a purchasing point of view, not from a rental point of view. So we say, okay, well, the worst case scenario housing for us would be, say, about 1.2 million. People go, oh, you could live in less. Yeah, I could, but that's what would make me happy. Even an apartment overlooking the beach at 1.2, right? So I know that. So now I go, okay, cool. I've got 3 non-necessities, right? This is where we're starting. So I know I need this, and I need this, and this. Then we go family. Okay, what's a non-negotiable? For me, putting funds away for my kids is a non-negotiable, and being able to do extracurricular plus holidays, non-negotiable. So now we've got the non-negotiables for lifestyle, money, housing, family. So what this is telling us is at any given point, we pay our bills, we allocate, and then we have surplus. So our bills, we push our bills aside. Okay, that's all our bills. Where do we direct the surplus? Well, the first thing I've got to do is I've got to allow for these things plus whatever my wife's things are here, right? That's the first thing I've got to allocate to. Then the next lot of money that's surplus has to go towards that. And then once I've done enough for that, this doesn't mean get to 60 on 120K. It means be on track, right? So once I'm on track for that, then the next thing I should do is be going towards the housing. And we'll talk about that in a second. And once I've allocated enough for that, then we say, right, then the next thing I need to do is put money aside for the kids. Okay, now some of you might switch these around, and that's fully okay. Put money aside for the kids and have a kids fund, which we've got, and then we'll go into the business side. Now let's come back to the housing for a second. Why is the housing important? This tells you 2 things. It tells you if that's the worst case scenario, then if you can't afford that, it doesn't make a lot of sense for you to go and buy a house that is less than that, pay stamp duty, transaction cost, to then have to sell it later to upgrade. It tells you that if you can't afford your worst case scenario house now, then you're probably better investing, right? However, if you can't afford it, the worst case scenario house, and you still want to build memories in a place, then sure, get a smaller place that you can pay off or whatever. But what this also tells us is it gives us our housing investment plan. If you can't afford this, right, and you want to rent vest, why would you go and buy this random property in a hotspot someone told you about, when you can go and get your worst case scenario and cross that over with a good investment? So pick a place that is a good house. We call this the fallback strategy. Your first property investment, if you're not going to live in it, should be the place that is a good investment that you'd be happy to live in if everything else fell through. Completely reduces and removes the risk of the property investing. Good investment that also doubles up as the worst case scenario place that you can live. That's perfect. You get that place, you borrow, put some tenants in it, and then you keep building on top of that place. It gives you the perfect strategy to completely remove any risk from that property and ticks off your foundations. Allows you to leverage harder off the back of that because now you've got somewhere that you can always fall back to.